Hello and welcome to Conversation Corner. Today's video is extremely important, especially for men. We're living in a time where I believe men are under the most stress mentally they have ever been. There have been world wars where men went into battle and they died. However, those men had far less stress than men of today have. And I want us to be able to sit through this video, discuss this, and understand exactly why this is happening. If we look at this from a very rational perspective, we're living in times where we have food security, we have more job security than the previous generation, and life in general has become far more comfortable. At the touch of a button, you can get food ordered and reach your house in half an hour, something that was not there before. So, if the conveniences of life have expanded so much, why is life in general getting much tougher for men? I have a few opinions. Let's go over all of them. Number one, I believe the need to be successful now has grown exponentially. Before our economy opened up, before we were a thriving capitalist economy, India had socialism for a lot of time. So, a large number of families were generally middle class or lower middle class or poor. So, you never really had this opportunity to show how different you were from the group. Now that money has come into the country, now that business is thriving and flourishing, you have the opportunity to show how different you are from other men. And that pressure for recognition and success is what has boiled down to this generation, and social media just amplified it. If you look at Instagram or if you look at Facebook, people generally post their victories. So do they do that on LinkedIn? And when that happens, as a man, very often you feel that you're not where you need to be. You see your friends getting promoted, you see them going on trips abroad, getting married, having kids, and at some point in time you feel that you have fallen back and that there is something wrong with you. Now, truth be told, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I mean, as long as you're a healthy male who's not indulging in substances or has not done any criminal activity, I don't really see why you're falling back in life. Now, this stress is generated internally from your own desires and it's generated at a societal level. Now, at a societal level, what is happening is we have not kept pace with times. So, our fathers and their fathers had a very set and strict rule of how life had to proceed. And at that point in time, I believe women didn't work as much as they did now and they didn't have the same opportunities. So, what is happening right now is the very idea of being the man has gathered far more pressure, because although women have entered the workforce, as a man, if you decide to sit at home and raise your kids, that's seen as something very unmanly. So, although women have been liberated by their freedom to choose to work or to stay at home, men still have the pressure on them to support the whole family. If you move from a rural area to an urban area, you're still seen as the breadwinner for your family, especially if you come from the lower middle class or from a poor section. So, the amount of responsibility on men in India is generally a very huge burden. Now, why is this burden far more than what it actually should be is our own desire to see ourselves at a certain stage in life. We receive so many advertisements on social media about luxurious lifestyles. If you go through your city, you're going to see hoardings of real estate selling luxurious apartments, and it's posted all over. On social media, you see people posting their victories, and that makes you feel that you're really behind in life as a man. Now, I'm not sure if women face the same pressure, but generally, what I tend to see with women is they attend to their social relationships far more. So, women are far likely to have a wider set of friends or a social network whom they can go to in times of distress. Given that men focus exclusively on their careers, when they feel stressed at any point in time, they feel very isolated because they've not been with people with whom they can share these problems, right? And men in general don't like to disclose their problems to others because that makes them feel very incompetent. As a man, you feel great when you're competent, and you feel amazing when you're kicking ass, right? When you're really doing well at what you aspire to do, that's what makes you feel competent, that's what makes you feel manly. However, in the modern world, you do need a certain support system that gives you the tools to support yourself mentally when you're really not where you want to aspire to be. And although there are a lot of people willing to help you, you have been socialized in such a manner that asking for help from someone is seen as a sign of weakness. Now, women are never taught that asking for help is a sign of weakness, which is why they're far more willing to accept help from others. They're far more willing to disclose their difficulty to other women and their family members in general. And yet, men feel that they need to solve all their problems on their own, otherwise, they are incompetent. Now, I'm not saying you should or you should not share your problems. I'm not giving any prescription on what to do. I'm telling you things as they are. If you feel that as a man you need to handle everything on your own, then you need to start journaling, you need to start meditating, doing a lot of things that will help you keep up with the stress of modern life. You also need to curb your consumption to where it doesn't grow super outrageous that you start chasing your payments now for your credit cards. So there's been an explosion in this ostentatious display of wealth. Everyone wants to show how rich they are, and a lot of people are losing money in showing how rich they are as opposed to becoming rich. This is another thing driving pressure on men, I believe. And the last thing is, men, as they grow into their late 20s and their early 30s, they tend to ignore their social relations. So as they get married, they tend to spend less time with their friends, and as they spend less time with their friends, their social circle becomes smaller and smaller. So imagine being laid off from your job and getting divorced. That's a double whammy. Now you have no income and you have no social support. This is a very dangerous situation, which is why I want to advise men that as they grow in their career, they should look at expanding their social relations too. Stay in touch with your friends, be up to speed with whatever's going on in their life, and bring them up to speed with whatever's going on in your life, because the challenges of the modern day are far more varied and they need a lot of minds to tackle that. So going it all on your own may not be the best idea for you. Look to grow your social support network and look into more content on mental health, because you're going to really need this as time progresses. And at no stage in your life should you feel horrible about being where you are. Even if you're at the most horrible place, even if you're lagging behind all your peers, feeling sorry about that and feeling a certain sense of guilt or regret may not necessarily push you into action. It may push you into further sorrow, which you do not want to happen. So keep your headspace really clear if you want things to get better, and understand that you are not obligated to be the most successful person on the planet. If you're doing well, if you have food on the table, if you're able to pay your rent, be appreciative of that, because not many people are in this position. I hope this video has helped you, and please feel free to leave a comment.